Folks, hello and welcome to Tavern Chat. I'm your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, your main proprietor at the Tenkar's Tavern blog. So I found this study on NWorld. So I'll include a link to the short article on NWorld. I'll include a link to the study. It's about 17 pages. And before you there's a handful of people who are going to have like conniptions. Yes, it's a word. That are going to go, oh, you're talking about using Dungeons and Dragons as mental health therapy. No. But let's tell you what we're looking at here. It's a study on the efficacy of tabletop role-playing game Dungeons and Dragons, and by extension, other RPGs, for improving mental health and self-concepts in a community sample. All right, so what did the researchers do? This is the Department of Psychology, College of Healthcare Sciences at James Cook University. Abstract. Tabletop gaming has seen a rise in popularity over the past 10 years with an influx of interest following the coronavirus pandemic. Limited research has explored the impact of tabletop role-playing games on mental health and self-concepts such as self-esteem and self-efficacy. This study employed a repeated measures design with 4 measurement points to quantitatively evaluate the effects of playing D&D on mental health and self-concepts in a community sample. So, by the way, folks, this should not be a huge surprise, right? I know from my history, I was a shy kid before I became a D&D player. Would you know that now? Holy shit. But I was shy. D&D brought me out of my shell. D&D helped with my self-esteem. D&D gave me confidence. So I don't think that there's anything here that many of us don't already know from our own gameplay or watching our kids or watching others play, and you can see positive changes, right? But this is an actual study. So it isn't just, oh, well, it helped me. This is my personal experience. No, this is a study that was able to make quantitative measurements of what was going on. 25 community participants took part in 8 weeks of D&D gameplay. One 1-hour session per week. Now, again, if you are an old school gamer, you remember playing 8-hour sessions when we were younger and in high school and college and maybe even now, right? These days, I think we get about 3 hours in every 2 weeks. So that's not much more, actually, than 1-hour session per week. Okay. Completing pre, mid, and post-intervention surveys. 18 of these participants also completed a 1-month follow-up measure. Participants demonstrated significant decreases in depression, stress, and anxiety, and significant increases in self-esteem and self-efficacy over the study period. Now, there you go. As such, D&D may have potential utility as a well-being intervention or preventive program. They're not calling it a treatment. All right, there's people going to go, oh no, they're going to be prescribing D&D as a treatment for people who have mental illness. That's not what they're saying. And I hate the people that come out and they come out of the woodwork. There's a handful whenever the subject comes up. No, this is something to put in your quiver. Hey, listen, many of us suffer from anxiety, right? Many of us have self-esteem issues, depression. This is gaming, which is a fun activity, should common sense help with depression, help with anxiety, help with stress. But like I said, this study was able to quantify that. I find that to be very interesting. I find that to be very good. Now, introduction, we don't care. We know what D&D is. We don't need to have it explained. Um, Now, TTRPGs have been suggested as potential therapeutic tools. A recent scoping review identified 22 studies. I would love to read them all, honestly, into the therapeutic use of TTRPGs. 80 of these studies examined D&D specifically, although most of these are case studies only. These case studies suggest that D&D can be harnessed to minimize the impact of anxiety symptoms. Players of D&D often express that playing D&D is cathartic. I think most of us would agree with that, and provides a safe space to express emotions in game without having concern of the outside consequences. Due to the nature of the game being cooperative, D&D also offers players a sense of connectedness and a safe space to explore their mental health problems, allowing them to feel more at ease. They're not, again, don't read into this that they're saying that, well, if you have a mental health issue, you shouldn't need any other treatment than D&D. No, they're not saying that. This is a, a tool, an arrow for your quiver. But if you're only putting one arrow in your quiver, you're doing yourself and those around you a great injustice. Um, Existing literature lends support to the use of TTRPGs to enhance self-efficacy and self-esteem. Self-efficacy refers to beliefs that one is capable of performing a specific behavior or set of behaviors when called for in challenging situations. Self-esteem describes a person's positive or negative attitudes and evaluations of themselves. They are regarded as self-concepts and that they are self-judgment of one's abilities, thoughts, and feelings. A number of qualitative case studies indicate that TTRPGs benefit self-concepts. I can certainly see that. Qualitative case study research has demonstrated that a variety of TTRPGs, examples in this case are Call of Cthulhu and D&D, have a variety of psychological and social benefits. Quantitatively, Cato reported improved communication abilities. Are any of us going to disagree that, especially those of us that have been gaming for 30, 40 years, that our ability to communicate has certainly improved because of RPGs? And I think I've mentioned this in the past, but I'll mention this again. I remember as a rookie cop being in situations where I didn't know what to do. And what did I say to myself? Well, you know what? If I was role playing a cop, what would I do? And it allowed me to take a step back so I didn't have the immediate pressure on me. And my decisions, when I stepped out of myself, but still role played a cop, were the right ones. Okay? So I think that it is a great tool. But quantitatively, Cato reported improved communication abilities and quality of life among adolescents with ASD following extensive engagement with tabletop RPGs. Similarly, a small study, 4 participants, by Helbig found that children with ASD showed improved social skill acquisition following tabletop RPG sessions. Further, a randomized controlled trial of males with drug dependence found that those who underwent 4 weeks of a modified TTRPG reported more confidence to refuse drugs to a control group. There is something about role playing games that can certainly build up self confidence, especially in the youth. Right? You overcome challenges, you overcome difficulties, you work as a group. It is a great tool for that. In the past decade, there's been increased interest in therapeutic and preventive uses of D&D. However, most of the existing studies into D&D and mental health or self-concepts are qualitative. These findings provide valuable insights into the potential benefits of D&D However, more concrete evidence into the likely magnitude of the effect of D&D on mental well-being and self-concepts is needed. To address this research gap, the current study employed a repeated measures design with 4 measurement points to quantitatively evaluate the effects of playing D&D on mental health, stress, depression, anxiety, and self-concepts, self-esteem, self-efficacy in a community sample. And we are going to go past the methods because once it starts looking like something out of calculus, it isn't. It starts looking like it. I think we can go beyond that. They got the demographics, mental health. You can certainly read this yourself, folks. I would say you should. Participants partook in D&D sessions in small groups of 5 to 7, 6 groups in total. Due to participant attrition, the study resolved as 5 groups, with 3 participants being relocated to a different group. Each group did the same D&D module, with one of 4 skilled DMs from a local tabletop gaming club guiding them through each of the sessions. A typical leisure playing session of D&D lasts between 3 to 8 hours. The current study split up the typical session of 8 hours into 8 one-hour sessions over 8 weeks. And I did say that, right? When we were kids, they lasted 8 hours. The D&D module specifically developed for the current group study. Again, I'm not going to go into the procedure or to the data analysis or the, again, math and the results. But the present study employed a repeated measure design with 4 measurement points to qualitatively evaluate the effect of D&D on mental health and self-concepts. And, oh God, this improved mental well-being in response to D&D is consistent with existing literature. I would say so. D&D is an example of play. Play has been defined as an unproductive activity governed by rules and facilitated using make-believe. It typically occurs in a protected environment and has no certainty of outcome. Given that play facilitates escapism in a form that's usually positive and enjoyable, it may therefore lead to flow. Flow refers to a mental state experienced when an individual intensely, yet effortlessly, engages in an activity they find rewarding. So it's basically getting lost in a game. Like, you can sometimes get lost in a good book. A good RPG session, you get lost in the moment. In flow, people are in control of their mental energy, and attention is freely invested to achieve their goals. D&D players will become enraptured with playing their characters with full autonomy and active engagement. D&D provides players with the opportunity for mastery and control. As part of D&D play, players are required to overcome traps, combat encounters, social dilemmas, and there's a certain reward when you do well. And actually, there's a feeling of especially if it goes poorly and you survive, you still have that adrenaline. This may explain the observed increase in self-efficacy over the course of the study. The sense of mastery and accomplishment gained from overcoming D&D challenges may improve self-concepts and thereby also bolster self-esteem. This is a very interesting article. We're going to get right to the conclusion. The study quantitatively evaluated the effects of tabletop RPG, D&D, on mental health and self-concepts among community samples. 8 weeks of exposure to D&D was associated with significant reductions in depression, anxiety, and significant gains in self-esteem and self-efficacy. And the improvements were maintained at a 1-month follow-up relative to baseline. The results add to a growing evidence base for the potential use of D&D as a preventive or intervention tool to promote well-being. Again, this isn't the cure-all. I don't want to. There's when I brought in a mental health professional who used a modified RPG as part of the therapy, I had somebody getting very offended and taking it very personally. This isn't that. This is saying if you are a gamer, you play D&D, it's a great way to deal with depression, anxiety, stress, and I certainly have seen that. And self-esteem, self-efficacy, certainly. I saw that as a kid. And especially when you look back. So I think that this is a very good study. Again, I didn't go over the technical details because I was a history major. We didn't do studies like this. But please give it a look, give it a read. And if maybe you know somebody in your life that is, hey, listen, maybe they got a lot of stress in their life. Maybe bringing them into the game will help them de-stress a bit. Probably can't hurt. Again, it isn't the cure-all. This is just one of the arrows in your potential quiver. And I don't want anybody getting all bent. Please. Folks, again, thank you for viewing. Thank you for watching. If you like what we do in this channel, please like, subscribe, comment. Next live stream, I guess, will be Wednesday night. Holy crap, that's catching up. We'll probably have a guest. Maybe two. We like to keep it crazy like that. All right, folks. Again, I'll link this and the original short and world article in the show notes. Be safe, be well, God bless, roll those dice, roll them well. Back again tomorrow with some other gaming news. Laters.